All right, let's jump right into a really big question. What if the entire internet, and I mean worldwide, just stopped for a full 24 hours? We're not talking about slow Wi Fi or your favorite app being down. Nope. We're talking a complete global shutdown. Let's really dig into what that would look like. So that's the big idea. It's the core of this whole thought experiment. The internet feels as essential as electricity, maybe even running water. But what if it just vanished? For one full day, the entire digital world goes completely dark. What exactly happens in that deafening silence? But before we can even begin to imagine what its absence would feel like, we first have to get a real handle on what the internet is. I mean, beyond just the apps and websites we stare at all day. Yeah, we all talk about the cloud, right? Like it's this magical, intangible thing floating up in the sky. But that's not it at all. In reality, the internet is this massive physical machine. We're talking millions of kilometers of fiber optic cables snaking across ocean floors and these huge data centers just humming with servers 24/7. So it's not a cloud, it's the actual central nervous system of our modern world. To make it real, just think about the physical trip a single message takes. It literally travels from your phone to a cell tower, gets routed through servers, zips across entire continents through those undersea cables I mentioned, and finally, boom, it appears on your friend's screen. And all of that happens in the blink of an eye. That is the system we're about to switch off. So, the clock starts now. We are officially in the first hour of the global outage. And this is where the first tremors of our digital earthquake really start to hit. Okay, picture this. It's 6 in the morning. Your hand does that reflexive thing where it just reaches for your phone. But the screen is just dark. No notifications, no messages, no news updates. You check the Wi-Fi. It's dead. The silence is just absolute. So what's your first thought? It's probably not a global catastrophe, right? You'd assume it's just a local problem. Ugh, maybe I forgot to pay the bill. Or the network must be down in my area. It's only when you talk to your neighbor, and then maybe you hear something on a battery-powered radio, that you start to realize this isn't just you, it's everyone. And this is exactly where a simple personal inconvenience starts to trigger a catastrophic chain reaction. The systems that run our entire world begin to fail, one after the other, like a perfectly arranged set of dominoes just getting knocked over. And things go south fast, frighteningly fast. In just the first 3 hours, the entire global financial system just seizes up. Digital payments, they fail. Credit cards, useless pieces of plastic. The stock exchanges in Mumbai and New York, totally silent. By hour 6, transportation is absolute chaos. Airports can't get to passenger data, and supply chains grind to a halt. And by the 12-hour mark, even our hospitals are feeling it, as all those cloud-based patient records become completely inaccessible. So what's the price tag for a single day offline? Well, the numbers are just staggering. Even the most conservative estimates point to tens of billions of dollars lost. That's from e-commerce, frozen financial markets, lost productivity, you name it, all in just 24 hours. And this immediately creates a really practical crisis. With no digital transactions, physical cash suddenly becomes king again. But let's be honest, in our increasingly cashless world, who carries a lot of cash anymore? Not many people. This would trigger a desperate rush on banks, whose own ATM networks are, you guessed it, also down. So the first half of the day was really all about the failure of systems. But the second half? That's about us. It's about the human shockwave and the breakdown of what's become our emotional infrastructure. The psychological impact is, it's a strange mix. On one hand, you have this widespread anxiety, this profound sense of isolation. But on the other hand, something totally unexpected starts to happen. With no screens to stare at, families actually start talking, neighbors connect, kids rediscover playing actual physical games. It's like a forced global digital detox, and the results are kind of fascinating. And I think that's when we'd all learn that the internet isn't just cables and code. For billions of us, it's our primary emotional infrastructure. It's how we connect, how we empathize, how we feel a little less alone in the world. Its absence reveals just how deeply we rely on it, not just for work, but for our actual well-being. Okay, so as that 24-hour mark gets closer, the focus starts to shift. Governments are scrambling, and society begins to grapple with a much, much bigger question about the fragile civilization we've accidentally built. The immediate question on every single leader's mind would be, how did this happen? Was it some kind of unprecedented cyber attack? A massive solar flare that just fried critical satellites? A coordinated act of sabotage? Or was it simply a technical glitch that cascaded into a global failure? Honestly, each possibility is more terrifying than the last. And that really brings us to the core lesson of this entire ordeal. Technology itself was never the enemy here. The real problem, the one we're now forced to look right in the eye, is our profound dependence on that technology without building in the resilience, the backup systems, to survive if it ever fails. When the internet finally flickers back on, the relief would be immense. But things don't just snap back to normal. We've been changed. For one full day, humanity was forced to confront its own fragility, to see how the very thing we celebrated for its efficiency became our greatest vulnerability. So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a final thought. We've walked through the chaos, the systemic collapse, and even those unexpected moments of human connection. Now, I really want you to think about it. If this wasn't just a thought experiment, if this actually happened tomorrow, are you prepared?